Hello everyone. I did a Johnny Harris video, and then I'm doing another one. This is his latest one. Why the U.S. military is studying UFOs. I heard they're not UFOs anymore. They're like UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomenon, because UFOs were just getting, Let me adjust this real fast. We're gonna break this into two 14-minute videos, but one of them is gonna be 14 minutes and 1 second. That's gonna be the bonus video. Here we go.
Look on the ASA. Oh my gosh, dude.
It's November 14th, 2004, about 100 miles off the coast of San Diego, California. The USS Nimitz, one of the US Navy's largest aircraft carriers, is preparing for deployment to the Persian Gulf. But the radar technicians aboard notice something weird. The military report from that day says that they noticed, quote, multiple objects descending from around 60,000 feet down to 50 feet in a matter of seconds. Very high velocity. 60,000 feet. A reminder that commercial airplanes fly at like 36,000 feet. The report goes on to say that these objects, quote, hover for a short time and depart at super high velocities with, quote, advanced acceleration capabilities. At first, these radar techs thought that their fancy new radar system was messed up, so they recalibrated the radar, but the signal remained. Something was up here.
They're telling us they have a contact on their radar. They don't know what it is. They just have a blip. Well, they've been watching these things, and what he told me is they had been looking at these things as we're driving. He says, sir, we've been tracking these things for about 2 weeks. We had been at sea for 2 weeks. He goes, this is the first time we've had planes airborne. We want you to go see what these are.
So they sent out two FA-18.
Do you own your home in Illinois, but still rent your electricity? If you pay more than $50 a month in electricity, then you might...
They sent out two FA-18s to investigate. The report from that day describes a day of blue skies, no clouds, and unlimited visibility. These two Navy pilots arrived to the scene, each with a weapons officer in the back. They look around and notice something strange in the water below.
So as we're looking down off the right side, the backseater in the other airplane, Jim, he says, hey, Skipper, do you? And that's about what he gets out of his mouth. And I go, what the hell is that?
It looks as if some cross-shaped object the size of a massive airplane is submerged right underneath the surface of the water. And above it, it appears to be boiling. And just above the boiling water, an object is hovering.
And we saw this little white tic-tac looking object, and it's just kind of moving above the whitewater area.
Like no predictable movement, no predictable trajectory.
Yeah.
Yes, it was just
like a ping pong ball.
no acceleration.
Very, very random.
Acceleration.
The Navy report describes this object as, quote, an elongated egg, or a tic-tac, that was uniformly white across the entire body. It was approximately 46 feet in length. One of the pilots, with his weapons officer in the back, wanted to get a closer look.
So then I go, hey, I'm going to go check it out.
So he turns his jet down towards the object, the other pilot staying back to get a wider view.
So I'm coming down, and as I get to 12 o'clock, as the tic-tac's doing this, it's like it's aware of us, and it just goes bloop, and it kind of points out towards the west and starts coming up. So now it obviously knows that we're there. Whatever this thing is, it knows that we're there. So I'm kind of almost coming out co-altitude as this thing's coming up. I'm going to meet it. And it just, as it crosses our nose, it accelerates in literally in less than, probably less than a half second. It just goes, and it's gone.
And you saw no visible propulsion,
Right.
no wings or anything to make it fly in our atmosphere.
As these two pilots are heading back to their aircraft carrier, they get a radio call from one of their radar techs.
And he's like, hey, sir, you're not going to believe this, but that thing is at your cap. It showed back up. It just popped up. This is like 60 miles away. It just reappears.
Within seconds, 60 miles away. Just like that. By the time they get back to the Nimitz, the object is gone. So they gear up and get ready to send another jet out to investigate. And this time, they make sure that an infrared camera is strapped to the bottom. With the camera recording, they found the tic-tac again. Okay, so now we're looking at real data, real evidence that we can analyze. Get us away from relying on someone else's memory. What you're seeing is an object that is somehow flying through the sky. These infrared cameras will usually show a heat signature of exhaust or some kind of energy that shows how an aircraft is being propelled. Something. But here there's nothing. And yet suddenly this object, in the blink of an eye, blasts away. And to be clear, we just showed you the raw clip. We didn't edit this in any way. This was back in 2004, but no one knew about it, and likely never would until it was leaked in 2007 on a fringe UFO website called Above Top Secret. It honestly looked like some kind of BS conspiracy UFO stuff, totally disregarded. But 10 years later, the Pentagon confirmed that actually it's totally legit. This is authentic Navy footage recorded by some of the best pilots on Earth, showing an unidentified flying object. The New York Times would go on to report on this pretty deeply, and reveal that this video, as well as the first-hand accounts by people who saw this object, would lead the Pentagon to create a secret program to study what's happening here. And not just this encounter, but dozens of others, something the public wouldn't hear about until recently. And that's what this video is about.
US military officials have gone before a Congress hearing releasing once classified videos from private pilots' cockpits.
144 unexplained sightings.
Wait, pause. Yes, I know some of you are asking, am I actually doing this? Yes, I'm actually doing this. We're doing a deep dive on UFOs. And no, it's not some bait and switch storytelling device where I try to trick you into believing me and then like tell you to not believe everything you see. I'm actually doing this. I'm applying my journalistic lens to a topic that, in my opinion, has been thoroughly bastardized and sensationalized by the likes of the History Channel, UFO fanatics, and Hollywood. I want to do the opposite of all of that.
The movie Signs, that's where they had the metal tin hats. I worked at a movie theater at the time, and I was making up that movie on a Thursday night. I was in the booth making it up. There were several other people there, and you would make up the movie, and then employees would show up, and we would play the movie Thursday night, midnight or so, after everyone, the place is closed. And we'd play all the movies, and you'd play them because employees wanted to see them, but also because you wanted to make sure that the splicing was good and that there wasn't an issue. And I was making up that movie. I was on the last reel, pull it out, cut the piece, put that over there, and I cut the piece. I take the rest of the film and I put it on the splicing machine, and then I take the one piece I cut off and I held it up just to give a look, and it was that goddamn alien in the house. I was so pissed because they did such a great job of not showing you any of those alien in the entire trailers or anything. I just hold it up because you had to save that one when you came through and spliced it. You would, when you were breaking down the movie, you would take it off, you would hold up the reel and hold up the picture, and okay, yep, that was it. Boom, done. I was so pissed. So pissed. All I had to do was splice it together. Boom. It would reel it up, ready to roll. I would have been none the wiser. But I had to look. I was so mad. And I just remember yelling, "Mother, God damn it." And everyone's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "I saw the alien." Everyone there was like 3 or 4 people up there. They were like, "Nope, nope, nope, no, no, no." And they just walked away. I was so pissed. I sat there and I watched the movie and I was so mad. I couldn't enjoy the movie. I was so pissed. That's just an interesting little side for you. Because we like to keep it humorous here.
I actually evaluate the facts, because honestly, there are some really compelling facts here. So this is not Roswell, it's not aliens landing at a school in Zimbabwe, it's not Bob Lazar claiming that he worked on UFO tech back in the 70s. I'm not touching any of that stuff. Maybe if this video does well, I will open up those cans of worms. Today, all I'm looking at are the hundreds of evidence-based sightings of stuff flying around in the air that the US military has observed but has concluded they don't know what it is. That's it. Let's do this. Oh, and by the way, next week's video is live right now over on Nebula. You can watch it ad-free right this minute if you go sign up for Nebula. Link in the description. No code necessary. Okay, let's get back to it. In many ways, the 2004 Tic Tac event is the starting point for a new era of UFO investigations. And again, big props to the New York Times for breaking the news that the Pentagon had been investigating UFOs in secret since at least 2007. It was a program that Harry Reid, a Democratic senator from Nevada, had personally been asking for. Big alien guy, that Harry Reid, huh? The Times reporting also revealed that there were other videos.
Isn't it weird, though, that Harry Reid is from Nevada? Area 51. He was interested in UFOs. Maybe that's just me who finds that interesting.
In 2014, a Navy jet was chasing a fleet of strange objects on the east coast of the United States. I mean, listen to this radio chatter.
There's a whole fleet of them. Look on the ASA. My gosh. They're all going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Well, if there's like this thing, it's rotating.
The next year, in the same area, a Navy pilot captured a small round object traveling at what looks like very high speeds over the water.
Roger, are you box moving target? No, I took an auto track. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh, dude. Wow, look at it fly.
In 2019, some Navy sailors were on board this destroyer when they pointed a camera through their night vision goggles and captured this video. On March 4th, 2019, a weapons officer sitting in the back of a fighter jet captured these pictures of a, quote, metallic blimp, a sphere, and an acorn. And then there was this incident in 2021 where a Navy pilot was filming out his window with a phone and caught this. Yeah, you probably missed it. Let's just slow that down. This. Like, what is this thing? These videos and images were shot by Navy pilots who were on duty and have confirmed to be authentic by the United States government. And these are just a few of hundreds of sightings under investigation by the Navy, many of which remained classified for, we all know what I'm gonna say, national security reasons. Not undermining it, I'm just saying like, ugh, it's just like the catch-all for all things that I want to know. Got a little out of control there. As more and more of these unidentified flying objects were being reported and talked about in the public, the Department of Defense finally assembled an official Unidentified Aerial Phenomenon Task Force. UAPs is what the government now calls UFOs because UFOs, you know, again, has been completely tainted by this stuff.
A UFO sighting over multiple cities.
I don't know what the hell it is.
An extraterrestrial event that changed the course of history. And an alien abduction witnessed by no less than 6 people.
I mean, you read through these reports, and you can start to see why the government wants to study this stuff. And no, it's not just because Harry Reid is, like, into aliens or whatever. The government says it itself that it's interested in this because of national security. Who's flying around in our airspace without our authorization? And why are they behaving in weird ways that we don't understand? But they also mention the safety of their pilots and their very expensive hardware. This new committee has been coming out with reports, and they state very clearly why they're doing this. First, the Pentagon is worried that these UAPs may be, quote, part of a foreign collection program or indicative of a major technological advancement by a potential adversary. Counterintelligence, quote, UAP pose a hazard to safety of flight and could pose a broader danger if some instances represent sophisticated collection against United States military activities by foreign governments or, crucially, demonstrate a breakthrough aerospace technology by a potential adversary.
I know what he's going to say. It's the Vatican.
Translation, we don't really know what these things are, and that kind of scares us. Oh, and safety.
I was wrong. My bad, I was wrong.
When do you start getting a thought that, like, what the fuck is this thing?
So that happened when we visually saw one. There were 2 aircraft from my squadron, VFA 11, and they took off as a flight of 2. That means they're essentially flying in a formation like this. And as they...
This mistake is costing Amazon Prime shoppers.
That's terrible news. Back to the video, though. Yeah, okay.
And as they hit the area, one of these objects went right between the aircraft.
We have a very strict system for controlling who is flying in our airspace to make sure that things don't run into each other. Because random stuff flying around could risk the lives of the pilots and these $67 million weapons. So when something like this happens, it's a huge deal. They immediately abort whatever they're doing and they return to their ship to like discuss what the hell just happened.
And you know, he was just sitting there saying, hey, you know, I was hit with those damn things. And we all knew what he was referring to, even though we didn't necessarily have a name for it, just because we were seeing these so much. And he described it, you know, he described it just as a black or dark gray cube. And that cube was inside of a clear translucent sphere. And essentially the apex or the corners of that cube, best he could tell, were touching that inside of that sphere.
Wait, hold on, did you catch that? Not the weird cube inside of a translucent sphere, whatever, we'll get to that later. To me, what's actually more compelling about what this guy just said is...
because we were seeing these so much.
He is saying that these pilots have been seeing these things...
you know, essentially all the time.
Wow. Yeah. Like, yeah, I get it. The translucent cube thing is, like, more tantalizing, but, like, the fact that these pilots report seeing these UAPs, these UFOs, all the time, day after day, week after week, that to me is more compelling evidence that we need to evaluate here. And like the 2004 Tic Tac case that we talked about at the beginning.
This was happening because we upgraded our radar the best we could tell.
These Navy personnel at first don't believe what they're seeing. They think that their instruments are probably broken.
And then people started to try to fly by it and see it. And at this point, you know, I would say maybe 80 to 90% of our squadron had probably seen one of these on the radar at this point. Everyone was aware of it.
So, according to some of these accounts, you've got a bunch of Navy pilots seeing weird stuff all the time, both on radar, but also with their infrared cameras. But are you gonna be the guy who goes to your superior in the Navy and say like, hey, I saw another UFO today? You don't wanna be like the UFO crazy. You're gonna get kicked out of the freaking like most superior pilot corps in the world because like you're seeing UFOs. These pilots have talked about how there's a real stigma with reporting this stuff. So a lot of them just sort of keep quiet. But it was when that near crash happened that now these pilots are literally required to file safety reports of what happened. And this is where the Pentagon and lawmakers who fund them were forced to take these UFOs more seriously.
We know that our service members have encountered unidentified aerial phenomenon. And because UAPs pose potential flight safety and general security risk, we are committed to a focused effort to determine their origins.
This is where I start to get pretty excited about the potential here. Because look, this is like a real high up person in our intel community in the military who's talking about getting more data on this, on studying it. Keep going, Mr. Moultrie.
Our effort will include the thorough examination of adversarial platforms and potential breakthrough technologies, U.S. government or commercial platforms, allied or partner systems, and other natural phenomena.
Oh. Okay, we're going to end it here. I'm going to go back a couple seconds before this kicks on, so, you know, it looks like I'm telling you about the UFO probe. Kind of sounds weird when I put it like that, but like and subscribe. Otherwise, I'll release part 2 before I release part 1 and blame you.